Good evening, Mr. Prime Minister. So glad that you have accepted our invitation to do this interview. How was the 25th anniversary celebrations?
Very much involved. There was quite a bit of activity. There were 2 weeks of celebrations. After all, I believe after 25 years, deserve at least 2 weeks of celebrations. And so it was very involved. But what I think was very much interesting was the endorsement of the commitment that I was able to provide for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. I indicated very clearly that for the last 25 years I've had the opportunity to serve. I'm one of those who believe that a man is sometimes given only one opportunity, and so he must make the best use of that opportunity. I think that 25 years ago, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, in particular the people of constituency number 6, gave me an opportunity. And every day since then, I've asked God to give me the guidance, the strength, the perseverance to serve, make a difference in my service. So the 25 years celebration was really an endorsement of that, what has been accomplished for the 25 years.
Now, 25 years as a parliamentarian, going on 19 as Prime Minister. I don't know that any Prime Minister in the region runs as rigorous a schedule as you do, as we have seen here in Nevis today, going into tomorrow. How's the health?
The health is okay, it's good. As you know, I'm a diabetic, and that has not slowed me down. Maybe being a medical doctor has helped me in managing myself with what I consider to be a chronic disease. And so I exercise, I eat well. One thing though, I don't believe I get enough rest, but I'm working on that. But the health is good. I have regular checks and everything at the moment is good.
Now you seem to enjoy these Nevis visits. First, the golf insurance into primary athletic championship. Just this morning I was looking at the video.
Yes.
As you made your way through the crowds, shaking hands, hugging babies, pressing the flesh.
Yes.
And then now tonight's event. You enjoy coming here, don't you?
You said that I enjoy Nevis. Suppose I said that Nevis enjoys me.
Well, it's mutual, I guess.
But seriously, Nevis has been one of the challenges that I've had in my political career. I inherited a party 25 years ago that always had a difficult time in recent times, in the latter part of the service, I would say, of Mr. Bradshaw and his team, had some difficulties in Nevis. It was naturally at a time when the people of Nevis, like the people anywhere else in the world, felt that in a relationship where one island was larger than the other, there was always the feeling that one was overpowering the other. And so the people of Nevis naturally, I believed, responded to that feeling. I inherited that. One of the first things I did when I became the Prime Minister was give a commitment that I would want to serve the interests of the people of Nevis, not only in St. Kitts, sitting in government headquarters, but that I would want to do so from Nevis, in Nevis, allowing the people the opportunity to access me, allowing me, myself, the opportunity to access the people. That, of course, was misinterpreted when we opened the federal office, maybe 1 year after being elected to office. And after that, of course, things relaxed. I recognize that time would probably heal. And today, I can feel a different atmosphere. A different atmosphere. Because you see, I did not impose myself on the people of Nevis. I always ran an outfit that was open and inviting, always acceptable to the people of Nevis. And that is why it was so heartening when I made the call to Patrice Nisbet to become part of the federal government that he accepted. And what a wonderful experience that has been. Because Patrice coming into the federal government at a time when I did not necessarily have to have a member from the Nevis Reformation Party or the CCM into the government was clearly an indication that we were in a different era. And he has been a blessing, not only for the people of Nevis, but for the people of St. Kitts as well. As Minister, as first Attorney General, he was able to steer through our Parliament a number of far-reaching revolutionary pieces of legislation. And then later on, as Minister of Justice and Legal Affairs, he was able to continue on that same trend. As Minister of Labor, Minister of Immigration, the long-term, long-service gratuity that has been legislated to those who are in the private sector, it is the doing of Patrice Nisbet. And so I say that we've come full circle without imposing anything on the people of Nevis, but inviting the people of Nevis, whether at the parliamentary level or at the individual citizens level, to become part of what we are experiencing as a government and as a country, not as St. Kitts, but as a country, St. Kitts and Nevis. I believe that we are seeing the benefits of the enhancing of that relationship between our two countries and our two governments.
Let's look at the flip side.
Yes.
The Honourable Van Zamri, a nemesis going back to 1993 with his neutral stance. Now he has come full circle to be a part of Team Unity. The Honourable Mark Brantley, from the onset a vociferous Douglas critic. He moved the motion of no confidence and is part of Team Unity. In fact, he's a deputy leader. What's the relationship like between yourself and these two politicians?
Let me make an observation. The fact that, as you said, we have moved away from the events of 1993 and then 1996 and then later on 1997, 98 when there was an attempt at secession, because Nevis was saying it wants to be separate, let us put it that way, or St. Kitts must not interfere in the affairs of Nevis, let's put it that way as well. But today, as you said, where a vote of no confidence has been engineered with the support of the CCM, where a unity team has been created of parliamentarians in the federal government, in the federal parliament, sorry. And they are now saying, well, we want to work together. It tells you that my own observation that I mentioned before, to say that an era, a new era is dawning, is clear. And this is being achieved because St. Kitts, under the Labour administration, for the last 18, 19 years, has never at any time tried to impose its will on the people of Nevis. It has always been a facilitating role, one where we are here to assist, if it is possible so to assist, never impose it, always invite it. And that is why today we can see Rance Emery taking an about turn from being neutral to one of being an active participant in attempting to remove the federal government of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, actively working towards the removal of the federal government of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. And so we've come full circle. But despite that, the Labour Party government is still not interfering in the affairs of the people of Nevis, because the people must have free choice, free will. It's up to them.
Did the Honourable Joseph Parry exemplify a different sort of leadership, though, in that he was more collaborative?
I notice, to be frank with you, from that evening back in November 1993, when I first engaged Mr. Parry, before I traveled back from Nevis to St. Kitts, having failed to have a meeting with the CCM when there was the 4-4 situation. And on my way down to the harbour, I understood from Mr. Parry that he was going to be having a meeting with his own NRP team, with Simeon Daniel, I think it was, and Mr. Stevenson. And I met with him very easily, without any fanfare. And I realized that Mr. Parry was someone who one can talk to. He became the local government for the people of Nevis, and the same attitude of being facilitating, being here to assist, that I had used with the CCM that he had replaced, was the same attitude. Mr. Parry I found to be easygoing, very much committed to his word. He said, Denzil, this is what I would want, this is what I would expect. That's the way we worked it out. We never put anything in writing. It was a handshake. If I can help Mr. Parry, I would help. And so I have found that it has been an easy relationship, I must tell you, with Mr. Parry compared with the relationship with Premier Allen.
Now, you're a regionalist, lead statesman in the Caribbean. Ideally, would you like to see a greater collaborative efforts between the governments, the two islands, the two peoples?
Right, that is exactly what we are seeking to do. I have been consistent in saying that whatever there is that the people of St. Kitts can enjoy, the people of Nevis must be able to enjoy. I have never, I think, made any public statement and forgot to mention Nevis, because it's one country. I am not saying that the people of Nevis may not have their own aspirations, but we are in a peculiar situation. We have a federal structure that is very peculiar. But even though the federal structure here is peculiar by way of the Constitution, countries are not separating today. Countries are coming together. You don't see one country dismantling itself. Look at what is happening in Ukraine. Look at what is happening there. Attempts at dismantling a country is providing fodder for an international, possibly international crisis. And so countries are coming together. And the same thing, there's no reason whatsoever at all for this country not to be enjoyed by the peoples of both islands who make up this country. I can assure you that as long as I am in charge of this country, in charge of the Labour Party, I believe that there will always be an embracing attitude and commitment towards Nevis. We see ourselves as one country. That is why I enjoy seeing the young people. The young people are not worried about the hang-ups of the past, about what Thatcher might have said and not said, the young people want to enjoy a country, all of the amenities of our country, whether those amenities are in Nevis or they're in St. Kitts. They must be able to move freely. They must be able to embrace each other. If there is a fete that is going on the strip in Frigate Bay, they must be able to come from Nevis and go onto the strip. And when they're finished, they take a water taxi and they go back across to Nevis. Likewise, if there is an activity like tonight, where we are celebrating the PEP, people, young people who are engaged in the PEP in St. Kitts, the organizers, the administrators, must come down, enjoy this cocktail reception here, and then go back to St. Kitts. Our people must not be fettered. The politics of the past, as I say, the ghost of Bratcher and Southwell and Daniel, those are ghosts, those are the past. They must not entrap us and entrap and hinder our present generations of enjoying what there is to be enjoyed in this country and advancing ourselves as a people.
What is this event tonight, the PEP cocktail, meant to you, and what do you see as the impact it's having on the Nevis economy?
The whole idea of the PEP, it was introduced at a very critical time in our economy. We realized that a number of our young people were not employed. They go from one job site to the next asking for work. Oh, what experience you have? None. When did you leave school? Might have left school with certificates, might have left school with nothing. We had to provide something for people. We believe in giving people a second chance. A second chance. Because sometimes messing up the first chance is not their own doing. Circumstances would have led to that. So they deserve a second chance, especially at an older age. And that's what the PEP is about. Tonight is a celebration of that second chance. It is saying to the young people on the island of Nevis and those who might have been unemployed that the federal government, working with the SIDF, wants to give them a second chance and to say to them, as I said, make use of that second chance. Learn a skill and in the process demonstrate self-respect, respect for others, discipline, hard work. They are going to take you places in the future when we would have then had a trained workforce and the economy is booming again and people would be able to find gainful employment and relying on the training sessions that they would have experienced in the PEP. Tonight was a night of also saying to the people of Nevis that without Patrice Nisbet in the cabinet, the PEP might not have come to Nevis. I admire, as I said, the demand that has been placed upon us to provide not only for the young people of St. Kitts, but for Nevis. Patrice has been the advocate for the people of Nevis, as he has been the advocate for the people of St. Kitts. And I want to say that tonight was to emphasize that Patrice Nisbet is good for Nevis.
Now, yesterday on your Ask the PM program, you spoke of the Clinton Foundation and how that could help in the greening of St. Kitts and Nevis, including moving the Nevis geothermal project forward. In terms of the Nevis geothermal, could you explain how?
The Nevis geothermal project sadly has been languishing for too long without progress. This is a project that has gone through the two local governments. Luckily, it has been with one federal government, which is mine. But it has gone back and forth between the two local governments. maybe the structuring of the project, the financing, structuring, the business plan, whatever you want to call it, might have needed a little tweaking here and there. But that is water under the bridge. The fact is that Nevis has geothermal potential that can be tapped for the benefit of Nevis and the benefit of St. Kitts and for the benefit of other surrounding islands, and it is not being tapped. And I said to Ira Macasina, who is the chairman of the board of the Clinton Foundation 2 days ago, I want you to speak with the authorities in the Nevis Island administration about the geothermal project. I want you to sit on the same side of the government officials in Nevis, and across the table from you, with them on your side, help to advance negotiations to move this project forward. Help to identify potential investors. Help to bring into being the necessary agreements and development concessions, etc., that would necessarily be part of the ongoing negotiations. Help to ensure that the project is seen not as narrowly as some people would want it to be seen, as a Nevis project, but a federal project, because the St. Kitts Nevis federal government is interested in this particular project. And so we believe that if we were able to advance the project, moving through the difficulties that it has experienced, working closely with the United States government, especially the Energy Department, we would be able to realize the benefits for the people of Nevis and the people of St. Kitts with regard to cheaper energy, thus cheaper electricity, and thus it would stimulate economic activity, because we will invite manufacturers, and those maybe in the IT industry, so that they can bring their different enterprises that would be relying upon the low cost of energy, and thus provide employment opportunities and development prospects that we've not seen before.
Let's speak of a federal matter. Some people say we are at a stalemate. Arnim Eustace, leader of the opposition in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, said recently that he was disappointed that your Caribbean and CARICOM colleagues had not called you out on what he perceives as a stalled motion of no confidence issue. Is that part of the old boys network, or have they been saying things to you privately?
My colleagues, from time to time, would have asked what's going on. Because really, no one, I think, would want to know that there is a motion of no confidence that is to be heard in any federal parliament or in any parliament in the Caribbean, and it is not being heard. Naturally, it is a situation that evokes a question. And so from time to time, my colleagues, not all, one or two who are close to me, would say, what's going on? And I would explain. But this was not a matter that is going to come up for public attention in any open forum in a CARICOM meeting, because each of us has our little quirks here and there. And we don't go around openly condemning and criticizing and interfering. No. If the matter is such that it needs to be brought to the attention of the CARICOM heads of government or secretariat, then it is brought. The situation, of course, was unfortunate, because Arnim Eustace should have known better. He should have known that it was the opposition that he seemed to be supporting that stalled the motion of no confidence matter. It's the opposition that foolishly, and I use the term advisedly, brought the motion of no confidence into the court. I had given a commitment that I would, after the budget of 2013, which should have been heard in December of 2012, I said after the budget would have been heard, I would have used my best efforts as the leader of the country and as the Prime Minister in the Parliament to have the matter heard. But, as usual, the opposition can't wait. They want to hear it now. And so, naturally, they went to the court. And it is really their own imprisonment of the matter in the court that is now holding them as prisoners as well to their action.
Now we're 16 months in.
Yeah.
To my mind, there clearly won't be a vote on the motion of no confidence, as 6 opposition members have already stated verbally and in writing how they will vote. What's the end game? How and where will this end?
Well, if you have already projected the way you're going to vote, is it necessary to vote? The end game is that the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party will not be removed from office by a vote of no confidence. The St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, having done its job and served its mandate, would go back to the people at the most appropriate time to seek a new mandate to continue on its program of progress for the country in the advancement of our people.
You said the most appropriate time. Are we close to the announcement of an election? I've heard EK in the last couple of mornings playing a Labour Party jingle on the radio. Good morning, St. Kitts Nevis.
Yes. What is that jingle?
I think it said we voting Labour or we voting Labour.
Right.
So are we close?
The last parliament opened in March of 2010. Just on Monday, I was being advised by the Attorney General in Cabinet that I have 90 days beyond that date in 2015 to call the elections. So if the elections really are due, I would say that they are due 90 days after March 2015. Do the maths.
What would you say to those who say you are scared?
Scared?
Uncertain of your future?
Is Douglas ever known to be scared?
Well, you tell me.
Never. Never. The Labour Party has always prepared itself for elections. And more so, the Labour Party is in office. It will be more than prepared for the next elections.
Will the springtime crew of Jew, Maynard, Gilbert bring new life, reinvigorate your party?
That's a very, very important question. Because you see, when in 2012, January, I indicated to the Cabinet that we were going to celebrate, according to decisions taken at the party executive, we were going to celebrate the 80th anniversary of the party. And we should use that occasion in 2012 to do a number of things. And that was to set our sights on the future, which meant, of course, preparing for transition from one era of leadership to the next. we set about to invite two professors, Professor Neville Duncan of the University of the West Indies, Professor of Government and Politics at the University of the West Indies, Professor Emeritus, and Professor Simon Jones Hendrickson of the University of the Virgin Islands to sit with us and try to map out a blueprint as to how succession should take place. The spring coup that you're now seeing was always contemplated to be part of that transition. That we would have, as I said then, we would have renewed the party from within government, not out of government. We would renew the party's leadership while in government. But as I said before publicly, Harris did not like that. Harris did not want young people like these guys to get into the fray and possibly challenge him for the leadership, the future leadership of our party. But I want to say to you that any of the members, any one of those members today who are presenting themselves as candidates and who are sitting ministers of government, every single one, including Patrice, must be given the opportunity, if he so wishes, to advance to become Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis. I am not handpicking anybody. The people must select the future Prime Minister through the constitutions of the various parties. And in fact, it's very, very important that you're asking this, because one of the things that Professor Neville Duncan and Simon had written was that the selection of the new leader, even though it was a process that was going to be conducted by the Labour Party, even though it must have been done within the party setting, it must still be a process that would have involved the entire country. Because at the end of the day, this Prime Minister would have been replaced not just by a party leader, but by a succeeding Prime Minister as well. And so the springtime coup has been fresh air, just as we had been contemplating that we would have done. Myself, Sam Conda, we would have moved on. Sam Conda is older than me. Vance Amory is older than me, yet they're saying that I am old, I must go. Vance Amory is in Parliament for 25 years. Sam Conda is in Parliament for 25 years. Both of them are older than me. Both. Yet they are joining together and say, I must go, I'm too old. These guys are crazy. Sorry about that.
How do you see campaigning? I find your style colorful in parts. Simmer down, simmer down. You know, sometimes it gets dramatic. I want it now, I want it now. Perhaps a little over exuberant at times. Others find it disdainful. For instance, the reference to opponents as hogs. What's your philosophy on campaigning? Should we take such references literally?
I keep saying to people that when you're on the campaign trail, you are bringing serious political and philosophical issues to the electorate for consideration. But it has to be presented in an atmosphere of humor and entertainment. We are a Caribbean people. We love fun. And so we must have fun in doing whatever we're doing. I didn't refer to those guys as hogs, you know. What I did was made reference to a guest speaker's statement as she presented the graduation address to the Project Strong students back in 2012. I sat in the Moravian Church in Bastia and listened to her statement, her presentation. She was saying that The students, the graduates must not be ungrateful. She's a Jamaican. And she said that an ungrateful man is like a hog underneath a tree eating acorns and not even looking up once to see where they're coming from. And then I said, those are hogs. Making reference to the hogs, not to people. But of course, it's colorful language and people placed their own meaning to it. And as we say in the Caribbean, he who the heart fits must wear it.
I know it's been an extremely long day for you, and I'm getting some signals from your crew that we should start to wind this down.
All right.
Is your legacy assured?
If my legacy is assured, ask the people of PEP. Ask the people of St. Kitts and Nevis who have been empowered. Ask the people in the rural parts of St. Kitts who now feel confident and proud that they can stand tall anywhere in our country, in the Caribbean, around the world, and say they are Kittitians and Nevisians. Ask the thousands of graduates who are the children of the sugarcane workers, but who today are the professors in universities, the doctors attending to us in the hospitals, the engineers who are preparing for the geothermal electricity generating plants that will be established. Ask the environmentalists who have come from down there and today can stand tall with their future careers. Ask the small businessmen who are now part and parcel of the business community, breaking that back of a business sector that came only from a few selected families. Ask them. Ask the children of St. Paul's, of constituency number 6, and they will tell you, we are the legacy of Dr. Douglas.
Sum up the man Denzil Douglas in one word if possible, a phrase or sentence if that is not possible.
Fearless fighter for the poor.
Could you say that again?
Fearless fighter for the poor.
And you say that with emphasis?
Total emphasis and with conviction.
We're going to seek to have a more extensive interview with you in the future, but finally, what would you say to the citizens of Nevis?
I would say to the citizens of Nevis that we are together part of a federation that is progressive. We have gone through a number of challenges together, but there is light now being shone at the end of the tunnel. This tunnel has been a long and arduous tunnel that is bringing eventually progress to our country. St. Kitts and Nevis must continue to live as one. I want our young people in both islands to hug and embrace each other. Let them not be entrapped with the ghost of the past, the ghost of Bradshaw, the ghost of Daniel, the ghost of Southwell. Those ghosts are gone. Let us now look at a brighter future with new leaders: Douglas, Patrice, Nisbet, Parry, Amory, Mark. Let us move together as one.
Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister.